Cassie, I'm guessing this was a pretty emotional weekend for you.
It was. I went down to New Orleans where my sister lives. I'm from Louisiana. I grew up there to spend some time with her and my mom. My mom has stage 4 breast cancer that has metastasized. I can never say that word, but it's all over her body, in her, lungs, brain, the whole 9 yards. So we're kind of on borrowed time with her. And it feels very lucky, actually, because we did have some doctor friends say that anything after this past Christmas was a blessing. And she's a tough nut. She's hanging on in there.
Can I ask you a deep personal question? And if it's too deep, then you say, I'm not comfortable.
Sure.
Do you guys talk about the future with your mom?
I mean, yes and no. And that was a lot this weekend. It's always, my family is very British. And by British, I mean, I was born there, but it's the way they deal with emotions and feelings is a little different from, I think, what a typical American family, how they might deal with it. Very reserved, sort of insulated. So it's kind of hard to have those conversations, but it's necessary. So we have been having them, and it's been very cathartic. But it has been very, very difficult.
Has it been mostly about like planning, or is it fear, or is it what's in the afterlife? Do you guys have those kind of combos? You stay away from entirely?
Kind of both. Yeah. I think my sister is she's nearby, so I think she's had more of those conversations with my mom, but I've been part of a few of them. She's mentioned that she's seen her dad, who obviously passed away decades ago when he was 60, like dressed in a suit coming to visit her. And so we took that as a very good sign. I think she, I don't want to speak on her behalf, but I think anyone going through this would be very apprehensive about what's next. And I told her, I call it leveling up, because she did tell her, she's like, I don't want to leave you girls this weekend. And I was like, you know what? I don't want you to leave either, but you're leveling up. And I truly believe that when you get to the other side, you're going to sit there and be like, why was I sad? Like, it's okay. And you're going to be able to see our lives unfold. And then one day we'll see you again when we level up. And I feel like calling it leveling up in my mind, it's kind of like trying to make death a positive thing in a way. I do believe that it is the next chapter in our existence, and we're always scared of the unknown, because why wouldn't you be? You don't know what happens. No one really knows what happens. You can have theories, but that way I think it's something like, I like to think that there's a higher consciousness, whatever your belief, and that we will see each other again, whatever that looks like. And so we had those conversations. We had conversations about, did she want to be cremated? What does she want done with her remains afterwards? And that's tough, because she grew up in the UK, but we've lived in America for all of our lives, and it moved around. So it's very hard to have a place that you feel like is home. Like, I don't feel like I have a hometown. I have places I lived for stretches of time. So I think it was good. And then there were other conversations we've had about closure, about whatever we've been hanging on to during the past. So I knew going into this week we would be making some great memories, but I knew that it would also be very emotionally difficult, and there'd be some heavy emotional lifting. And I think I got everything. I think we all got everything that we wanted out of those few days together. And it was a really, really great time. So thank you guys for letting me go hang out with them for a while. I really appreciate it.
But did you get any beignets?
I did not.
Oh, Cassandra.
Woman.
Dude, I'm from the area. They're a dime a dozen.
But you had to eat one for us, man.
I ate plenty of gumbo for y'all. And crawfish. Oh, my God.
That's
anyway,
what I'm talking about.
So good, dude. Anyway, so when we went down there, we had kind of decided a little bit in advance. We had been talking about it. And I wanted to kill my sister when she brought it up, because she's like, Ma, this was months ago, we should get matching tattoos. Let's get the pink breast cancer ribbon on us. And I was like, why did you just offer me to get, I don't want a pink breast cancer. I'm happy to get a tattoo in honor of my mother, but it's just, I didn't want to look at it and be reminded every single time that she got breast cancer. And it's just not something I wanted. And so I'm like, how do I do damage control? So I found a different design. I'm like, what if we did this? And they loved it. And now my mom, again, remember, British reserved. Her mother was part of like a Wimbledon sister club and played croquet. They are very regatta, Tim's cups, yes, very posh. And had once told my sister if she ever walked through the front door, she would not allow her to walk through the front door of a house with a tattoo. So my sister's like, I'll go through the back door, and then got scarification done in Africa by a tribe. Was like, I don't care. So my sister's been open to it. So having my mom open to this, I was like very surprised. I actually didn't think it would happen. And so I put forward the idea of these matching tattoos, and I found a fine line drawing online that is two halves of is a heart. So I have half of a heart now that has her birth flower on it. My sister has the other matching piece of that heart. And then my mom has the full heart with all of our birth flowers on it. And that way she is our whole heart. But when she's gone, we still have half of her heart and we can make the whole heart again, my sister and I. So it's kind of symbolic. And I got it done. It's my first tattoo ever, which I wasn't really expecting. Can you see it?
Yeah. Oh, hello.
All right.
Showing us your feet for free.
Yeah. Sorry about that, Mo. My foot's like right in Mo's face. He's like, God, get your feet away from me. Especially because I always kick him during the show by accident.
Yeah, my knee is a little sore.
Sorry. And so, it was... People asked me if I was nervous beforehand, especially my husband who has a lot of tattoos. And I wasn't. And I wasn't apprehensive because I just knew it was the right thing. And the reason I got it there is because often when I'm relaxing, I always cross my left leg over my right. And so then whenever I have downtime, I can see her and look at her. And that way I'm not thinking about, her death in the middle of the show or something because it's on my arm. And I just felt like it was some beautiful closure. And the tattoo shop we went to, we had the same artist do all three of our tattoos. And they were so kind. My sister called in advance and was like, my mom's immunocompromised. She got clearance from her doctor, her oncologist before she did this. And they're like, I'm so sorry. Would you mind wearing masks? We walked in, the entire shop was masked up.
Oh my God.
And it was just not even putting on masks as we walked in. We're already masked up before the appointment. And it was just that kind of like, they don't know her, but that kind of support, I think that becomes really meaningful when you have a parent like that or a family member who's immunocompromised. And the fact that we were able to have this experience together, and she got the heart on her wrist so that she can look down on us as well, at her wrist and see us both. And I couldn't think, I had thought my first tattoo was going to be the phoenix that I told you guys about, which I'm still planning on getting. I think this is more meaningful this way.
Oh, yeah.
And the fact that I got it done in New Orleans, which is a city so special to the three of us, I grew up right outside of there when I was younger before high school, and it stuck with me the most out of everything. And it's still bizarre to me that I have a tattoo. Like I keep expecting it to rub off, but I like it. And I don't know. It's just, I'm walking away from that trip feeling like closure isn't quite the right word, but I'm at peace.
Yeah.
I feel like I've accomplished everything. I'd like to spend more time with her, don't get me wrong, but I feel like I have accomplished everything that I need to in terms of processing and dealing with it. And I don't think I realized, I was excited about the trip, but I don't think I realized how important and impactful it was actually going to be.
You have to kind of deal with these things so individually and so different, There were a few months ago where I was almost like pushing Cassie out of the studio to go and hang with her mom, right? I'm like, are you sure? Are you absolutely sure? I don't want you to look back at any of this time and have any kind of regret, right? Kristen handled her dad's situation very, very differently and gave her peace, where you were by his side for a long time, did the show from down in Orlando also, and you chose not to go that route because that was not going to give you peace, and this did. And I just want to compliment you for being true to yourself.
Thank you. I think it's very tough to navigate. I'm also lucky that my sister is very close to them, so she visits a lot. And we kind of joke that she used to live in Africa because she was in Peace Corps. So I did the first leg of handling the parents, and now this is her turn.
Yeah.
That's her joke. But I think it's also difficult for me to navigate because I have kids now. And so it's, do I rip them out of school and away from their friends to go live with someone who is sick and let them see their GG deteriorate over time? Do I take their mother away from them so I go live with my mother? Is that fair to my kids?
Right.
And so I think at the end of the day, I told myself, it's got to be about stability for my children first. And as long as I'm able to still love my mom and support her, which was why I went to Houston for her brain procedure, and I've been there for other appointments, and I will go again in the future. As long as my sister and I can balance that, I just want to try and give stability, because we're also not in our house. For those of you who don't know, we had a tree fall on the house, so we're living in an RV. It's a long story. So everything right now is just like, and so I am trying to get some modicum of stability in my life. And I finally just feel like the fact that I'm able to do this entire break without the high-pitched crying noises that I normally make, to me really does indicate that I'm in a more at peace place. Now, maybe tomorrow,
Yeah,
we'll feel differently.
Sure.
The Bert Show.